The United Nations has declared 21st March as the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. On that day in 1960, police opened fire and killed 69 people at a peaceful demonstration in South Africa against the apartheid laws. This day, the General Assembly calls on the international community to redouble its efforts to eliminate all forms of racial discrimination. The main international law instrument dealing with racial discrimination is the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination. This convention is a third-generation human rights instrument. It commits its members to the elimination of racial discrimination and the promotion of understanding among all races. The convention also includes an individual complaints mechanism, effectively making it enforceable against its parties. This has led to the development of a limited jurisprudence on the interpretation and implementation of the convention. The convention also establishes a committee on the elimination of racial discrimination. The committee constitutes a body of independent experts that monitors implementation of the convention by state parties. All state parties are obligated to submit reports to the committee on how the rights are being implemented. The most blatant violation of this convention has been seen in illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The loss of autonomy in August 2019 of IIOJK and the introduction of new laws led to a reduced level of political representation and participation of local groups in the area. Because of this, the UN Special Rapporteurs on contemporary forms of racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance, and the Special Rapporteur on freedom of religion or belief wrote to the Indian government raising concerns of massive human rights violations in IIOJK. The Convention on Racial Discrimination specifically prohibits actions by state parties that threaten the racial identity of a group situated within their territory. Indian actions in IIOJK, such as the new land rules, which came into force by repealing 11 existing laws, allows any citizen of India to purchase land in the Union territory, to take up residence or start a business in Kashmir. The result of this would be a violation of the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, as predominantly Muslim identity of IIOJK would be diluted. This, coupled with the overall racial discrimination against Muslims in India, demands the international community to look at the situation in India through the lens of this convention. Authorities in India have adopted laws and policies that systematically discriminate against Muslims. For example, the government passed a citizenship law in December 2019 that discriminates against Muslims, making religion the basis for citizenship for the first time in India. Prejudices embedded in the government of the ruling Hindu Nationalist Party, BJP, have infiltrated independent institutions such as the police and courts, empowering nationalist groups to threaten, harass, attack, and discriminate against religious minorities in India. These actions violate domestic law and India's obligations under international human rights law that prohibit discrimination based on race, ethnicity, or religion, and require the government to provide residents with equal protection of the law. The Indian government is also obligated to protect religious and other minority populations and to fully and fairly prosecute those responsible for discrimination and violence against them. However, the situation in India is far from ideal for religious and racial minorities, and the international community continues to turn a blind eye towards Indian aggression.